Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to another Warcraft replay here. Didn't show the loading screen, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Yep, Netease Ladder once again. We have an Orc versus Undead matchup. Fairly certain I said in the last game that I was trying to avoid this kind of matchup here, but I don't know. There's not that many replays that really catch my eye, I guess. Not saying that this one did, I just thought, yeah, a completely different player. I've never casted one of them before, and why not? So, we're going to be watching WFZ spawning in as the blue undead player in the bottom right. He'll be facing off against who? The red orc player in the top left. Yeah, not sure about the name, but he is currently, at the time of recording, he is 7th in the Netease Ladder rankings, which is not even that, not something to laugh about. That is, I mean, there's a lot of pro players like clogging the top rankings, and yeah, he is among them where I don't even recognize, so I'm curious to see how he plays. Is an orc player, is gonna go for Farseer first. So we'll see what that entails. This is still 1.29 by the way, so yeah, Netease has yet to roll out their transition, which is starting to, I don't know, if part of me really wants that change to happen, but then the other part of me also kind of don't want to see 1.30 in action. I have not even seen 1.30 in action at all, but I've been hearing a lot from second-hand people, I guess, and some like it, some don't. It is definitely a very drastic change from normal patches, and yeah, sometimes people don't like change, and from what I've seen, I think the changes might, I don't know how I feel. It doesn't seem that big to me, but then again, I don't play, so there is that. Farseer going for the green creep camp there. Nothing too out of the ordinary, aside from, I guess, the fact that, wait a minute, this looks a little different. This looks like, what is it, 1.30 this looks like the 1.30 map instead of the 1.20. That's, strange. Because normally it's, yeah, this, oh wow, this really feels weird. What a weird, sorry for the weird opening, but, yeah, this is actually 1.30 Terenas Stand, so instead of the double creep camp here, where the laboratory is in the corner, and there's 2 camps that you can get an easy level 2 off of, bases are just at the dead corners, so that's, that's gonna take some time getting used to. The Mert camp obviously moved from here to where the base used to be, and the laboratory went to the Mert camp, so that is super trippy. It took me a while to realize, but I guess we'll be seeing a lot of that in the future. It's strange that Netease is using a 1.30 map on a 1.29 patch, but I guess it's just making the players get used to it, I guess. Close attack +6, very nicely acquired for the Farseer, especially with his double Gloves of Haste, so he is going to be hopefully doing a lot of DPS. He's going to pick up that TP staff and cloak into the shadows, just killing off that skeleton. As for now, yeah, WhO is just going to back his units off. I was expecting some early base harassment here, but seeing as WFZ is actually still in his base, let's see how well WhO can actually get some opportunities. Is gonna go for that chain lightning, and we'll be able to pick up an easy, almost easy kill there, and the death coil will be coming in just in time, except Death Knight actually blocking his own acolyte's path, and it's gonna screw him over a little bit, but thankfully we did have a replacement acolyte for that. And this is actually really good for WhO. A single wolf summoning is disrupting the gold mine quite a bit. The Farseer did take quite a bit of damage in return for that, but he is able to tech up freely and hopefully just farm freely as well. Death Knight's still stuck at level 1. And might hurt him later on. Great Stronghold tech has been completed. We are seeing a single bestiary. No indication on the second building. It is going to be a war mill, so that might just be double bestiaries there. There we go. Second bestiary has been placed down. Double raiders or wind riders is the, I guess, the only two paths left for WhO now. Generally speaking, double raiders might perform a lot more consistently than wind riders, I guess, because all WFZ needs to do to counter wind riders is just make a lot more crit fiends. But if he goes double raiders, then the WFZ kind of has to rely on his heroes, which I think is probably a good option to go double raiders. The Death Knight has been delayed quite a bit in terms of levels, and the changes on the map itself is not helping either, so only time will tell. But for now, it is a double bestiaries. We are seeing a couple of raiders, but I need to see what that second bestiary is going to make, because, you know, not a bad thing to make raiders, and it might just be mass raiders in fact, as Ensnare is being researched, and we are pumping out double raiders, I'm assuming. So there is that. Farseer going for some harassment here. He did hit level 3, so he is in a pretty good position to start harassing with his direwolves there. Of course, he needs to summon those direwolves because these are currently level 1 wolves. Speed scroll going in, kind of a waste in my opinion. Probably should have resummoned them into direwolves to at least be a little bit tankier and might have done a little bit more damage, but interesting use of speed scroll, I guess. I mean, it's not like the first is going to resummon it, so a little curious as to why those level 2 wolves weren't summoned, unless he didn't go wolves as his third point. He went for level 2 chain lightning, which is, I guess, a possibility. I really don't like these mismatching terrain here, but what can you do? I'm not sure if that was in the old Terenas Stands or not, but regardless, it is still rather glaring. Turn Chieftain with War Stomp and Endurance Aura is going to share his experience with the Farseer, so not going to hit that level 3 just anytime soon. Meanwhile, Lich is also farming with the Death Knight, who desperately needs that level 3 to at least get that death code to noticeable healing numbers, I guess. At least the gold mine hasn't been touched, except I think the I don't know if this particular camp got changed either, with the main boss, the main mob being a renegade wizard or not, or if it's just a brigand. But yeah, I'm noticing a lot of bosses actually missing here. I think it was just WhO going for the item creep instead of actually clearing out the entire camp. But yeah, we actually have a Dreadlord third for WFZ, so this hero's looking kinda squishy. Level 2, level 2, level 1. Could get destroyed by a chainwave combo, assuming that, yep, Chain Lightning has been ranked up at its level 2. So, we could have Chainwave, but I'm pretty sure the Turn Chieftain got himself his War Stomp instead, so no Chain Wave, but we might have just a Chain Stomp. Expansion attempt there from WhO. I mean, who can blame him? WFZ actually hasn't gone past the halfway mark of the map, so he's playing really passively right now, and the expansion is just going to further WhO's lead, I'm assuming. And yep, I mean, overall good items have been picked up here for WhO. Book of the Dead is alright. It is going to be kind of useless when destroyers come into the field here, but the Sobi Mask is useful for either of these two heroes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, compared to WFZ, who has like absolutely no items, yeah, WhO's items are definitely a lot better. Shade is on the field and it is stalking the Orc army there. Try not to get a little too close to that TC. Doesn't want to get that that War Stomp, and a very unlucky dust there from the Farseer. Just missing that Shade, and here comes WFZ with a nice ambush, and we'll be able to pick up, I believe, 2 Raiders for his troubles. And yep, there we go. That is going to get a level 3 over to the Death Knight, and that will give him that level 2 Death Coil, which he so desperately needs, because level 1 Death Coil doesn't heal all that much, and level 2, I'm pretty sure, just doubles the amount, so that's great in itself. Temple of the Damned is being built, and both of them, 2 of them in fact, so we have Banshees being added to the mix here, possibly just to counteract the War Stomp damage and the Chain Lightning damage. War Stomp stun will still go into effect, so yeah, we'll see how well the TC can do without the damage from his War Stomp, and of course it just completely invalidates Shockwave. So yep, here we go. WhO getting another Raider caught there with a nice sleep, and we will have a surround onto the Raider. Kind of. Yeah, Nova is going to be used, but not the cleanest of surrounds there for WFZ. He only has 5 units to surround with, and 4 is the minimum, so I don't know. Could have taken his time there. Nice reveal, and the Shade will be ensnared and killed off. Interesting. Wait, where's the lab? There it is. That did look like a Goblin lab reveal, so surprising the Voodoo Lounge is not placed down next to it, but oh well. The Shade is now taken down. No Boneyard, so the Shade might give the impression that the Boneyard is on the play, but with Mass Raiders it just doesn't look that appealing to go for. Banshees are starting to be produced, Master's Training is in the way, and TB Scroll is going to be channeled here, as the TB Scroll of WFZ has also been channeled as well, losing a Raider to almost kill that Crypt, but yeah, no dice on that one. So far, in terms of hero levels, level 3, level 1, almost level 2 for the Dreadlord, and that is actually looking pretty good for WFZ. Both of WHO's heroes are level 3, so having just an extra level 1/2 hero in there that just kind of automatically makes you have the hero advantage. And of course it is the Undead Tri-Heroes, which very good synergy with each other. The mass nuking with the Nova Coil and the sleep just to set it all up. I'm anxious to see how well this kind of hero composition will dominate versus WHO's current army, who actually added a couple of Wind Riders as well. So +1/+1 upgrades in terms of Wind Riders, +0/+1 upgrades in the Raiders and Grunts. And yeah, we'll see how well these are going to. It's actually a complete transition into Wind Riders, in fact. Do we have Web upgraded? We do, and might be a little bad, but considering how WFZ only has like 2 or 3, only 2 Crypt Fiends on the field, this Mass Wind Rider strat might actually be a very good decision that was transitioned into, except yeah, the Element Surprise is now gone as the Wind Riders have been revealed, and I'm assuming WFZ is just spamming that Crypt Fiend production, maybe. Kinda needs to, is gonna start creating those Crypt Fiends there, as that is a lot of air units to deal with. TP Squad is going to be used by the Death Knight, but the Destroyer is going to get sniped out before that TP completes, and WFZ definitely didn't see this coming. I mean, he had sack pits. He could have made more than one shade to spot this coming, but he did not even expect the sudden transition of army composition, and this might screw him a little bit. We shall see. But here's the sleep onto the Tauren Chieftain. When we have a surround coming in, it seems like he's just going to be chaining that sleep onto the Tauren Chieftain to prevent him from doing work. But he can just be woken up simply and go for the War Stomp there. Book of the Dead is going to be activated, and the Chain Lightning is coming in as well. WhO has way more units than his opponent, about 15 more unit supply than his opponent, and of course the Chain Lightning, War Stomp, DPS is just doing absolutely a monstrous amount of damage there. Another War Stomp comes in, and this does not look well for WFZ. He is being completely overwhelmed by those Orc units. The Dreadlord has been taken down despite the DK having mana, and he does have a mana pot as well for that, but I mean the overwhelming DPS of WhO is just way too much for him to actually deal with. The green shields just did not do enough. Sure, they block the damage, but the stun is the most important part. Despite the cancerous curse coming in from WFZ, it's just not enough misprocs for him, and he will be losing his Lich very soon. Scroll of Healing is going to be used to try and counteract all the damage coming in. Wind Riders, I believe, have been killed off entirely, but I mean the ground units is still kind of too tanky to deal with. Lich going for another Death Coil to keep him alive a little longer, but I mean that surround is not breaking anytime soon. Another Death Coil comes in. That is going to be the last Death Coil for a while. Another Ensnare comes in onto the Lich as he almost tried to run away there, and it's a chain ensnaring that Lich, trying to prevent him from escaping. Can WhO actually finish the job? His Farseer is taking a lot of damage, but finally the Lich goes down. Level 5 for the Farseer. And yeah, the Farseer is just going to go back and recoup. Meanwhile, the rest of the army is just going to clean up shop, I guess. As I say that, he backs off immediately. Not enough raiders, I guess, to break down the buildings, but still, that was exceptionally good for WhO. Props to WFZ, I guess, for sticking on very long, despite the overwhelming numbers disadvantage there. But then again, he's still at a numbers disadvantage, about 25 supply down, and that gap is just ever so increasing. Yeah, kind of troubling for WFZ to look for a comeback here. Second base coming down on the top right. I mean, this base is already making itself way more worth it than it should have been. WFZ playing way too passively this game. I mean, that definitely, you should never play passive against an Orc player. And yeah, WHO's just taking advantage of that with about 3 bases, 3 gold mines worth of income, eventually, I guess. Carrion Swarm just not doing enough damage as the Dreadlord. Sure, the sleep on the Tauren Chieftain might have looked good, but it definitely did not end up in a very good result. We actually have level 3 wolves, in fact, as I'm trying to get the Farseer's level. He is level 3, so it seems like he just put the points all into Spirit Wolves, which is a very big conundrum, because these Mass Wyverns kind of force WFZ to go into more Crypt Beams than Destroyers, and then that just leaves those wolves to do a lot more work, since they are not afraid of being devoured. Yeah, these Wind Riders just doing way too much damage to these Banshees here. They are still 1-1 upgrades, but that's just enough to deal versus these unarmored units. Just not enough DPS from the Undead side to take out each Wind Rider that gets whipped, and it looks pretty much over, to be honest. Obsidian Statue turning into a Destroyer there just for a last-ditch effort, but I mean, these guys also get bursted down pretty quickly by Wind Riders themselves, so is it going to be enough? The Lich has returned, and is that going to be enough power for the Undead player to continue this? I don't think so, as the Lich is quickly being DPS down as well. Already drank a health pot, and now it's on cooldown. DK, not enough mana for a Death Coil, and that, I believe, is going to be game as, wow, all those units just turned and went right after that Lich, who is gonna drink a health pot, invuln pot, but yeah, that kind of just stalling for now, as yeah, this scene's pretty much over, as the Lich, no more forms of healing or invulnerability. Is actually on a live, which is amazing, but the Dreadlord actually takes the bullet for the Lich, as yeah, not much else WC can do. The Lich could possibly get taken down, but I think he might just GG out before that happens. Death Knight is going to use a Death Pact, as yeah, it looks pretty much over. Lich might get taken down before the game's over, as more raiders just pop in and just crush the soul of WFZ, as the Lich dies at the very last moment. So kind of a dragged out game at the end, who played very, very well, although some of the blame has to be put into WFZ playing super, super passively. That was really weird to see, because that just gave WhO opportunities to expand, just build a bigger army without any sort of pressure, and that was, yeah, that was a weird game. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know when the next cast will be, but see ya.